Good morning, friends. Okay, so for those of you who want to hear about my deep thoughts and lots of feels this morning, if you're looking for love and light, Lisa, it's not this Lisa. This is angry, tough as shit, just flipped a 220-pound tire I don't know how many times fucking Lisa. That's who's now. Just to this is where we're going. Okay, having said that, just so you know what you're in for, what I've been thinking about, and I know that a lot of this has to do with group, and any of my group members who are watching this, you know that I'm so with you, and just like my experience is part of your experience is part of my experience. So one of the things I've been thinking a lot about and teaching is we are a spiritual being having a physical experience with an animal brain. So this is why we very often are doing things that we don't want to be doing. This is why we have bad habits. This is why we have addiction. This is why we have obesity. This is why we have chronic pain. This is why. And so this is the human condition, is that there is so much that needs to be filled with this human experience through this animal brain. And so we're constantly triggering our own fight or flight. We constantly feel like maybe we're about to die, consciously or subconsciously, just because we're being a human. We're just like doing the human thing. Okay. So what I've been thinking about is the effect that this has had on me personally, and how for a very long period of time in my life, it was food. So I know that that's the way it works, and it worked for me. Then, as many of you know, I just like kind of pendulum with the food, and instead of eating food and getting bigger, coping, then it became not eating food and getting smaller, and that was my new way of coping. Okay. So I've done so much work and healing around my relationship with food, exercise, my body, feeling real good there. Most of the time. But now I'm also very keenly aware of some other habits. Workaholism some of the time. Just to be specific. Some of the relationships. Just other areas of life. Where am I still in this kind of like fight or flight, doing my best because this is what it is to be a human? Okay. The reason that I'm saying this and the reason that I'm sharing this is because when I was journaling this morning, it's just bringing up a lot of anger. It's bringing up a lot of anger in me. Not because, and this is where sometimes I'm so angry at myself that I believed all the bullshit for a long time. Like being thinner equals being better, solving all your problems, etc. Like sometimes the anger becomes, I'm mad toward myself. I believed that, or that I fell for that. Okay. Sometimes the anger is at other people who perpetuated that message. But today, it's not going there. The anger is at this world that we live in, the social context of where we are. What's someone like me who was using weight loss and starvation as a way to feel good and survive? That's one thing. That's one thing. But the effect of how much praise and reward something like that brought into my life, and again, just kind of like perpetuated that message, that's what I'm mad about today. And part of the reason, so part of the reason that I wanted to share this is because I know that I'm not the only one who's like looking around at fat media and thin privilege and just the society that really rewards and praises anyone who's a workaholic of any kind. Like we are rewarded and praised for the habits that not only are deteriorating our health, but in many ways are slowly killing us. Literally. So where I'm at is that there's one part of it is that because we have this human experience body with an animal brain that constantly wants to, protect us and save us because it doesn't know that we're not actually dying. One way of coping with that is, this is where the overeating, drinking, smoking, gambling, fucking, all that stuff, that's where that comes in. And that's one thing. That's like one part of it. That is bad enough by itself that we have to cope just with the human condition. And one of the ways that we cope are these bad habits. That's one part of it. And that, again, is bad enough. But the other part of it is that we then, if you're like me, and the way that you have coped is actually praised and rewarded in society. So now it's not drugs and alcohol being a bad thing. It's weight loss. And that's the thing that I'm focused on right now, is that we do these things just to get by that are self-destructive. But then we live in a world that says, keep going, do it more. And so this is where my anger is coming from. But the reason that I want to share this is because, again, I know I'm not the only one who's like aware that we live in this fucked up society. The capitalism, consumerism, the patriarchy, the fucking nonsense of it all. I know I'm not the only one thinking about it. Okay. So the reason that I think it's important to share this is because, and in my experience, there's a lot of trying to fight the culture. And fighting the culture really works and helps and is a great option. We should all be fighting the bullshit culture, no matter what part of it is, right? Poverty, racism, there's enough bullshit to go around. So we should all be doing something to like dismantle the nonsense of all of this. But what do we do on an individual personal level when our shit is triggered? Like right now. Like, what am I, the human? What am I, the individual who only has control over my life? What am I supposed to do with all of this anger? Because I can fight the system every chance I get, and it's not going to change really. So what we do about it, these are the thoughts I'm having. You don't have to agree with me. What I do about it anyway is journal, rage on the page, as our dear friend would say. And then I came to the gym and I literally moved. I felt like that workout was just mental and emotional. Like that was just what I needed. I needed to move my body and like grunt and be just like get it out. Because I think that's what we have to do. If we're only fighting the culture, but we're not paying any attention to our own personal experience, having these really real emotions, really, really in our body, really move through us in real time, then what we're doing, what it is self-neglect. If you get, that's not the problem. Your anger is not the problem. Look around, right? If you're not angry, you're not paying attention. And that is just true. And so if you have moments of lucidity where, you stop scrolling on your phone for enough hours that you're aware that you live in a world of fucking bullshit and nonsense, and that pisses you off, what I want you to do is get pissed off. Again, group members, you know this. I'm not going to leave you alone. Meaning, get angry. If the way that you feel is angry, let yourself be fucking angry. It doesn't mean that it's going to change everything. It doesn't mean that the world is going to be different because you were angry. It just means that you did yourself a favor and you got out and you admitted it and you acknowledged it. Because the only alternative to admitting and acknowledging it is pretending it's not there, avoiding, numbing, distracting from it. And then you're in that cycle. And I just feel like there's this whole, it's so great that mental health and emotional health are like climbing in the collective priority. But I think a lot of that has become this like toxic positivity of like love and light, and like love and light is great. And we need to like need to have that, but we also need to feel our feelings. And sometimes one of those feelings is anger, because again, if you're paying attention, you will probably at some point be pissed off about this. And what I'm saying is your feelings are valid. That's what I'm saying. But I think because it's so big and massive, the culture, it's so hard to just like sit with. I promise you, I feel like the way that here, there's so much to say. There's so much to say, guys. Because it's so deep. What I want to get into with this is so deep. That is the reason that I feel so much better now, believe it or not, having just worked out, having journaled about it, really sat with my feelings, came into the gym, fucking worked them out of my body. And let me just like detour real quick for a little. While I was in the gym, I'm thinking about when people come to the gym and we're thinking about what we look like, how much weight we're lifting, how fast we're going, how did our Apple Watch catch how great our workout was? Like, it's all such fucking bullshit. It's all such nonsense. Like, and that's the thing is like, that's not why I work out. I don't track my workout on my watch. I'm on the turf area flipping this tire because I want to fucking chill. The reason that I feel so much better now, having done that, not just because I feel like I really sat with it and gave myself what I needed, but because what happens when you sit with the feeling, even if you change it, even if you can't do anything about it, even if for the rest of your life you're going to be triggered by your culture, even if when you actually feel it, you do something very important. That is, you draw the line. The culture and the bullshit out there and you. So you can still be angry about it. It can still affect you. But it's not being internalized anymore as your own. It's not just feel the feelings because you have to. It's feel the feelings because when you sit in that anger and you actually tell the truth about it and how it makes you feel and what it makes you think and all the things that you can't change and flip a fucking tire, when you're there, it becomes very clear to you, your inner child, your human essence, that it's all bullshit. And you don't have to listen to it. And you don't have to buy into it. And it doesn't apply. If you don't want it to apply to you, it doesn't apply to you. If you think it's bullshit, go spend some time in your anger and draw the line so that you leave in freedom. That's how I feel. That's how I feel right now, is I control what I can control. That is my thoughts. That is the way I move my body. That is who I hang out with. And you just draw the line. That is, what I'm tempted to do is get into a much longer conversation about using exercise to feel like you're in control. But I'm not going to do that right now because I have places to be. But seriously, I think it's really important. Is again, it's like, how could you not look around and get triggered by all this shit? How could you not? Well, I mean, or you're numbing and avoiding and distracting with all those aforementioned coping mechanisms. Those are the only options. What hurts worse? Nicole Sachs again. So that's where I'm at. But again, I really genuinely I feel really good because I feel so powerful. I feel so empowered. And that's what I want. That's what I want for you. I want you to work on the capacity to sit in the feeling. When you get angry, when it makes you upset, whatever the fuck. Expand your capacity to just tell the truth. Sit in it, feel it, because you come out the other end. You come out being clear with the clarity that is, I know what's real and none of this bullshit is real. I know what's real in here. I don't need any of this nonsense. And then you get to live that way, because what alternative is there? Okay. So that's where I'm at. I have to say, I really do feel very good. And I miss, oh my God. I mean, yoga has done really epic things for me, but I really miss being fucking tough as shit in a gym.